zit hier aan de achterkant van Paradiso en het is mooi weer. Ik heb wel een jas aan, maar het is nog best wel fris. Maar ik ben wel blij met de dame die naast me zit, want daar wil ik heel graag een keertje mee praten voor Cortonville. En daar zit ze. Lisa Hannigan.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm very well, thank you.
Yes. It's good to see you again.
Oh, it's great to be here. Yeah, good to see you.
I hear a lot of, let's say, Irish influences, but also other things in your music. What is your musical upbringing?
I was very lucky, I think, to have parents who had a good, tasteful record collection, and I know a lot of people don't. And yeah, my mother listened to a lot of Leonard Cohen and Nina Simone and Joni Mitchell. These wonderful, both singers and writers and lyricists. And my dad listened to loads of American blues music and Irish traditional music. So I had a really good
mix
spread of things that didn't involve anything too cheesy or horrendous. So.
Yeah. Did it also involve classical music, or is it?
Yeah, my mum listened to a lot of classical music, and she actually got me a CD when I was a teenager of operatic arias, and I got mad obsessed with Maria Callas for years and years and years, and wanted to be an opera singer. And just listened to Maria Callas. That was all I listened to.
Very, very, very intriguing personality as well, Maria Callas.
Absolutely, yeah, absolutely. I'm fascinated by her voice and her musicianship, but her story as well is classic soap opera. I mean, it's very operatic, isn't it?
It is dramatic,
drama and trauma of her life, emotionally. Anyway, yeah, for sure.
When did you find your musicality? Was it at a very young age?
I think so. I don't ever remember not singing, or not wanting to be a singer. But it certainly went through different forms. I played the classical guitar briefly when I was a kid, and then obviously went through my operatic phase. But then, love it. So beautiful.
Yes, this is Amsterdam. There's boats crossing and everything.
It's just so gorgeous.
It is.
So gorgeous. I wish we had more of it. I mean, in Dublin now they'd be full of shopping trolleys and cans of beer.
They are here as well, but they're on the bottom. Yeah, they're down on the bottom of the canal.
Yeah, I don't know. If we had one of these, I don't know what much you'd see really. But, oh gosh, I love it.
You should take a boat trip tonight when you finish your show.
Can you go afterwards?
I think so. I don't know what time you finish, but I think you can do a night trip.
We're actually finishing pretty early. The gig's on we're on at 8 until,
let's say,
9:30.
9:30. Then you can actually, and it's really, really beautiful to have a night trip. Yes, prosecco and a boat trip.
Actually, it's not prosecco. It's my vodka. What's the name of my vodka?
No, it was
prosake.
Prosake. Ooh.
Don't mention prosake.
Don't mention that. Just to explain, that was the last time you were here. You were over here. You were drinking strange combination drinks.
Amsterdam brings out the worst in me. The best, the most creative. In some ways, but I very creatively, with two of my band members, Gav and Ross, decided we would start inventing cocktails, the pinnacle of which was prosake.
The prosake and the something with vodka in it.
Oh.
Well, anyway.
Let's not mention it.
Well, no, don't mention that one. Have you ever?
It took me weeks.
To recover.
To recover. Yeah, I spent all of my fun tokens, all of them in one go, and. It took me a while to amass enough again.
So you've
always fun at the time.
Yeah. And very funny tweets at night. So you've been singing all your life, but have you ever been distracted from the path of becoming a singer by wanting something else, by being a stewardess or something?
No. I mean, I get diverted by things, but not. I've had notions recently of starting a bookshop, in a bookshop in Dublin, which I would really like to do. With Dublin's literary history, it seems like we should have more beautiful bookshops. And we have some lovely ones, but
we've got company.
We do. That was a great leap.
Yes,
up there.
she.
Oh, she. I beg your pardon. Yes.
That's her. The guy's in the water
You're
still.
quite a David Attenborough, Eric.
Thank you.
But but in general, no, it's all just been music. And even with my bookshop, you know, it's going to be quite music based if I ever get around.
Yeah. Well, we obviously, a lot of people know you from your time with Damien, in Damien's band. What did you do before that? Were you already writing your own songs, having your own band, or?
I was writing embarrassing songs. Yeah, I was writing horrible, mawkish, embarrassing.
What were
teenage
they
songs.
about when they are so embarrassing and so horrible?
I'm very glad to tell you that I can't remember the
Really?
ins and outs. Poor Damien could remember word for word the first song that he ever wrote, which, you know, in fairness to him, was pretty shite. He would say himself. But no, luckily I can't remember. I mean, nobody really wants to remember their first. Do you remember your first song?
Not my first song, but the first song I wrote out of really a broken up relationship when you were 16. The love that is not being answered. That one I can remember. Yeah.
Unrequited love. That classic.
Which was quite shitty as well.
Yeah, I think it's the first song that you write by yourself. You know, about yourself is a different thing. I probably wrote a few songs about Jordan Catalano in my so-called life. I'd say everyone did of my generation.
Yeah.
all teenage girls around that time would have written a lot of those. But, no, luckily I can't remember. But I did. I'd written a few songs, and had notions to being, but was more thinking about being a singer than sort of being a songwriter. Whatever that means. You know, I didn't know how that was going to work. But I actually met Damien.
So what does it mean to you now that you are?
I feel more like I could say I'm a songwriter now. I certainly didn't until a few years ago, because I think being in Damien's band, he was so prolific and so fast at writing songs. It was so easy to him that I would just struggle and grit my teeth and bash out a song that it felt like I was doing a different thing. I was ploughing a different field. But then I've since sort of found my own way of doing it and relaxed into it.
What did you learn from that time when you were working together with Damien? Because he was like you just said, he was fast, and you had to cope. Do you have to keep up with his pace, or what did you do?
No, it was great. It was because it was such a lovely collaborative time, and I remember we played here in the Paradiso. It was one of my favorite shows for favorite trips. I did again lose my tiny mind in Amsterdam, as I always seem to. But I remember loving the gig, and it was a very exciting time because he would come up with a new song and we'd bash it through and come up with harmonies and arrangements, and it was really exciting.
And what did it teach you in songwriting for yourself?
I think he was always very adamant about being very natural about it. He wouldn't sit down and think, oh, I better write a song today. He would really wait until he felt like it. And I don't really do that so much, but he was very much adamant about being very natural about it and not trying to force it. And, I feel a bit more that you sort of work your way into something natural happening. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If I sat around and waited for inspiration to strike, I don't know how much work I'd ever get done.
Yeah.
And I don't know how satisfied I would be with that. But I absolutely agree that you do get into a flow, and that's when things happen. But my take would be that you more have to shimmy your way into the current a bit more.
Okay.
But,
what is your way of songwriting? Because you said you're not going to sit down and wait for inspiration, and then you have to get into a certain flow or in a certain mindset. How do you come to that, or is it something that happens?
I tend to. Sometimes I have a specific thing I want to write a song about, and then I will. Then I will sort of ponder it and maybe get a couple of lines that I'll hang the song on.
Yeah.
But sometimes I'll just be messing with the guitar and just be mumbling to myself and find a line and a melody together, and then work from there and figure out what the song is about sort of afterwards.
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah.
So the song comes with the melody, maybe the words.
Yeah, sometimes things that that can be quite banal written on the page, actually, with a melody hitched onto a melody, actually sort of make more sense than they do on the page in black and white.
Yeah.
But I guess that's the magic of the whole thing. And sometimes some words look wrong as well, and there's something about when you combine them with a certain cadence or a certain interval that they something new is illuminated in them. That's the fun of it, isn't it?
Yeah.
The fun of it. You never really know, and it's always the kind of surprising bits that you didn't think through properly that just sort of occurred to you. I think that's always the best.
Are you, let's say, satisfied easily with what you write, or are you somebody who can go on for weeks and weeks and weeks before it has reached your standard of the song?
It depends. Some songs are faster than others, but I know once I get to the point where I feel comfortable enough playing it for the band, then I know that I'm kind of happy with it. But until then, I'll probably tinker with it a bit and change little words here and rhymes there and things. But I know when I get to the point where I feel like playing it for people, then I know that it's probably reasonably kind of set, and then we figure out how we're going to turn it into a song.
Was it for you? Was it extra, let's say, scary maybe to release your first solo album after such a long period in Damien's band? And
yeah, it was nerve-wracking.
Yeah,
and I was excited about it. I was really excited about it. I was really surrounded by great people and had a wonderful band and my manager and my just friends. Everyone was very supportive. And I really loved making the record, and that sort of made it easier. But retrospectively now, when I look back, it was really nerve-wracking. Actually,
did you have the feeling that there were people waiting for you with samurai swords and like pens filled with acid? Or
well, I think people had always been very supportive in general, and I was very aware of my own potential. People kept telling me, "Oh, you should do this," and so I was quite aware that people had a certain amount of expectation, or they maybe think that it was going to sound like Damien or things like that, which I didn't think it was going to.
No.
But you just have to make a record for yourself, obviously, and so when I was happy with it, I was happy sending it out into the world. It's only when you try and please other people that you end up in a pile of shit of your own making. So I was happy with it, so I didn't feel that nerves at the time. Retrospectively now, I think that was
that was horrible. Now, releasing the record wasn't horrible, but I can imagine that the feeling that you think like, okay, this is the first one. Now, Passengers out already for a couple of months. Were you more confident with that record? Because I can tell that something. No, but also when I listen to the songs and when I look at you performing the songs, I can see you found something in your way of.
I think that there's a certain amount in the first record of me wanting to appear a certain way to myself, really. But I'm fine. I'm cheerful. Everything's great. Check it out. And this time I didn't feel that way at all. I don't really care what people think of me so much, and I don't want to appear any way other than I am. And certainly with the songs, I was more conscious of trying to be truthful and sort of more brutal to myself than previously, I think.
How did you do that? How did you try to do that?
I think it's just thinking about situations and trying not to muddy the waters with I was going to say facts, but that's not true. But try not to muddy the waters with too much artifice. I was just trying to speak a bit plainer and speak plainer with myself. I think, and I'm more used to playing and singing, and when I first went out, I'd never sung for an hour and a half by myself. I'd always come in and done the backing vocals, sat down and jumped up and So it was that, it's sort of building up those muscles, you know. And now myself and the band are just, you know, we just are so much more sort of fused and welded together than perhaps we were before. And we were terribly close before, but I just think, you know, musically and everything, we just all seem we're more feel family.
Yeah.
I think that's important.
And when you said you wanted to speak, let's say, more from yourself, did it take a longer time to write the songs, or did they come more easily?
They came more easily.
Yeah.
I think that's just from writing more songs, but they came much quicker. There might have been gaps in between the writing of them. But once I started on one, I got into the flow of them.
And was it also the guts? You had more guts to show yourself in the songs?
Yeah, I guess so.
How hard is that? Can you explain how hard it is to put yourself in a song without it being too voyeuristic or something?
I mean, I always know with a song, you know, when you're writing a song, things that seem really obvious to you people never make the connection that you think is obvious, and they will make wild connections. I mean, I've had people say that this song is about this person in this way because obviously, and you just think, you think too much about that.
Stop! This is my song, stop!
And you need to not be thinking about that so much. But there's a sense, you know, of people looking up your skirt a little bit. I think when you write a really personal song. But as long, you know, obviously you've got that wonderful shield of anonymity about the whole thing. The whole thing, some of it's imagination, some of it is truth, but it's all sort of masked in stuff that people aren't going to know.
Of course, but it is for you as well. It's for me as a listener, it's a thin line because I never know what is you or what is true or what is not. But
it's all true, and it's all true for me. But I make sure that it's true for me and not necessarily for the person listening to, you know, to have all the cards. As in, you don't need. As long as I have the cards, you know what hand I'm playing.
Exactly.
You know, I'm not conscious of keeping it private, but it is private. It is private because it's your inner life and your inner thinking, and nobody can ever fully see your full you're fully up your skirt.
Your full
you know?
expose.
Yes, exactly.
Is that the most beautiful and the hardest thing at the same time of being a singer and a songwriter? I mean, you have to write songs that are personal, but people look into your life, and you don't want them to look into your life. That, you know, there's always this.
Well, I don't think anyone looks into my life really. I think I'm lucky in that. You know, I'm obviously not big enough that anyone would care, but I think, you know, you have to write things that are really specific to you so that they ring true, so that they are universal. If you start moving into the realms of cliche, it means nothing to no one, least of all yourself, you know? So you have to be brutally specific to yourself in order for it to resonate at all. But nobody knows what my specifics are. So.
That's a secret, maybe. That's the thing that you keep secret. That's your.
Yeah, absolutely.
The personal part.
I'm really a man.
You know, a song like Little Bird really touches me very, very deeply. Every time I hear it. And
that was the most personal to write, and that was the most difficult. And it was most difficult to sing live for people initially. But actually now it's my favourite one because I feel safe in the confines of it. Mm-hmm. You know, singing, even though it's the song I have most feeling for. I enjoy giving that feeling full sail, you know, every night, because it's still, every time I sing it feels very raw and real to me. So and the song itself brings up the feeling to me. So I remember the first few times trying to sing it live, I found it really difficult. Mm-hmm. And you know, verging on, well, maybe I just won't do this one. But actually, once I found a way to sing it fully, but I feel very private when I'm singing it. You know,
Yeah.
I think that's the thing. You have
I think that is what hit me when I saw you the first time performing that one, for the first time at Eurosonic.
Oh.
You were playing that in that Eurosonic session you did. And maybe that was the thing that really, really got me, because I feel that. I feel your...
Oh, thanks.
I feel that, no, there's something special about that song and the way you did it. So I want to thank you for that. Touring.
Yeah.
In Amsterdam. We are here in Amsterdam right now. A very prosake special, very dangerous place for a girl like Lisa Hannigan. But you've been traveling all over. You've been in Paris. You've been all over the place. Do you like being away from your... Do you still have a home in Ireland, by the way? Or
I don't really. I'm sort of living out of a bag. I'm just sort of stay with my parents a bit. I stay with friends a bit.
Yeah.
But I don't really have a home anywhere at the moment, except for my bag.
how does that feel?
It feels great, actually. It feels really good. I've always lived in Dublin. I lived there for the last 7 or 8 years, and I want to travel, and I want to play everywhere and go around with my band or by myself.
Yeah.
And play tunes and write. I'm in a very I do miss my family and my friends when I'm away, but they're always there. So
It's for a certain period of time, then you can go back and see them again.
absolutely, and yeah, I love it.
I know you love Amsterdam, but you've been to Paris a lot lately.
Yes,
What is it about Paris?
Apart from croissants and carambars, even the name carambars brings me in a cold sweat now.
Lisa, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, and have a great show tonight at the Paradiso.
Thank you. Cheers.
Thanks.